Today, we're going to break down the wealth habit system. It's a way of thinking that really gets to the heart of why so much financial advice just fails in the real world, and more importantly, what you can build in its place. All right, let's just get right to it with the big question. You know the basics, right? Spend less than you earn, invest for the long haul. You've seen the videos, you've read the books. So why is there this frustrating gap between everything you know and what your bank account actually looks like? Well, the answer to that question is the key to everything.
See, the problem usually isn't that you lack information. It's what we call the knowing-doing gap. This is that space where all our good intentions just seem to collapse, and it's usually powered by this vicious cycle of motivation that so many of us get trapped in. And I bet this cycle sounds familiar. It's, 11 p.m., you're scrolling, you get totally fired up by some article, and you decide, that's it, I'm changing everything. But then, morning comes, you're tired, life happens, and by the end of the day, that motivation is completely gone. All that's left is this vague, nagging sense of guilt, until the next burst of inspiration kicks the whole cycle off again.
So, this is maybe the most important thing you'll hear today. If that cycle sounds like your life, you need to hear this loud and clear. This is not a personal failure. You are not lazy, you are not undisciplined, it's an architecture problem. The systems we're all using for our finances are often built in a way that actually works against our own brains.
Now, to fix that architecture, we first have to understand the invisible math that's running in the background. It's the idea of compounding, but we're applying it to our daily behaviors, not just our money. This is where these tiny, almost unnoticeable actions end up creating these massive, enormous results over time.
Let's start with a really simple number, 1%. Just imagine improving your financial habits by just 1% each day. That's a change so small you'd barely even notice it. It doesn't require some huge burst of motivation or a complete life overhaul, just 1%.
So what happens? What's the result of that tiny 1% daily improvement? Well, after 1 year, you wouldn't just be 37% better. No, you'd be 37 times better. That is the absolutely explosive power of positive compounding behavior. But, and you knew this was coming, this math works in both directions. What happens if your habits slip by just 1% a day? Again, it's an almost invisible change. No single day feels like a catastrophe. The result is, well, it's devastating. You'd end the year with only about 3% of where you started. Your starting point is almost completely wiped out by these tiny daily neglects. And that's why small, bad habits are so incredibly dangerous. They just don't feel dangerous in the moment.
You can think of it like this, a tiny hairline crack in a foundation wall. At first, you ignore it because, come on, it seems harmless. But over time, with pressure and weather, that tiny little crack compromises the entire structure. Your financial defaults, those forgotten subscriptions, the mindless little purchases, they work exactly the same way.
Okay, so if these tiny little habits are so powerful, how in the world do we control them? Well, the answer is to stop trying to rely on discipline and willpower. Instead, we have to focus on building a better architecture, a better system that makes the right habits the easy ones and the wrong ones hard.
I mean, think about your willpower like it's a battery. After a long day of making decisions at work, dealing with stress, navigating traffic, that battery is drained. And asking that depleted brain to then make smart, long-term financial choices, that's like trying to navigate your way home using a phone that's flashing 3% battery. It's just a recipe for failure. The difference between the two is it's stark. Willpower, it runs out. It requires fresh effort every single day, and it absolutely fails you when you're tired or stressed. But architecture, that's persistent. Once you build it, it just works. It's automatic, running in the background whether you're feeling motivated that day or not. But even the best designed architecture can crumble under pressure if it isn't built on a solid foundation. And that foundation is identity. This is the deep internal shift that makes new habits truly stick, especially when life gets messy and hard.
Just listen to the huge difference between these two statements. I'm trying to get better with money is a goal. It implies a struggle, right? A fight you might actually lose. But I am someone who takes money seriously. That's an identity. It's a statement about who you are right now. It doesn't require a fight. It just requires you to act in a way that lines up with it.
Think about it this way. The person who is quitting smoking is in this constant, exhausting battle with themselves every single day. But the person whose identity is a non-smoker, they don't face that battle. For them, the decision is already made. The internal war is just over. That is the power of an identity shift. And here's the most counterintuitive but coolest part. You don't have to wait until you feel like a financially responsible person. You actually start by acting like one in a very small way. Each tiny action is like casting a vote for that new identity. And over time, as those votes pile up, your brain starts to believe the new story you're telling it.
Okay, so let's pull all of these ideas together into one simple, practical framework you can use right now. We'll call it the friction flip. This is how you can start rebuilding your financial architecture in literally less than 10 minutes.
First, just look at the system we all live in. To save or invest money, it often takes, 5, 6, 7 different steps. It is full of friction. But spending, that's one tap. The entire financial world is engineered to make spending frictionless and saving a pain. The friction is pointed in completely the wrong direction.
So our job is to flip that friction, and we do that by remembering this one core principle. Architecture beats motivation every single time. When you build a system where the good choices are the default choices, you just don't have to rely on motivation anymore. Your environment does all the heavy lifting for you.
So, here it is, your one concrete action step. First, pick a single financial behavior you want to improve. Just one. Second, find a way to automate it completely so it takes 0 daily willpower. And third, and this is crucial, physically write down the identity that this new automatic behavior supports.
And that really brings us to our final thought. What is the identity you're trying to build? Take that one action you just decided to automate and use it to complete this sentence. I am someone who pays myself first. I am someone who knows where my money goes. This isn't about wishing you were that person someday. It's about taking one small automated step, building the architecture, and letting that first action become the very first vote for who you are becoming.